What's up, guys? It's Dominique, aka That Therapist. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the lead clinician and CEO for a group practice known as Yellow Bird Counseling. What do we do? Well, currently we provide individual, family, couples, group therapies in the states of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. I think we're going to add New Jersey. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. I think that's a thing that we're going to be doing. So we can definitely offer you in-person or virtual in Alabama or Birmingham more specifically, or virtual in the other states. So definitely, if that applies to you, feel free to go to yellowbirdcounseling.com to set up either a consultation or a appointment, and we will get you taken care of. I'll also provide the number where you can text just a single word, and we can also get you set up that way as well. Okay, because as a person that also deals with anxiety, I know what it feels like to call somebody, and sometimes it ain't where it's at. So with that being said, I've made it super simple, and I will drop the number with the one word you have to text in the comments for me to get you set up and taken care of. Okay, but what does that mean as far as our presence here on social media? Well, the mission of Yellow Bird as a brand is to destigmatize got my words all mixed up, y'all. It's been a long day, but basically what we do is we want to break the stigma of mental health and wellness and receiving mental health treatment, because we all could benefit from having a therapist, whether we're going to therapy for therapy because we have a diagnosis, or whether we're going to therapy for counseling because we don't have a diagnosis. That is the long and short of it. Again, if you would like more details on the difference between therapy and counseling and which best applies to you, you can go to yellowbird.com. Again, that's yellowbird.com. And you can look at our blog section and look through some of the videos that we have available to educate you on different mental health topics that you may not know about, because our mission is to provide information to educate the general population, again, on reasons that we could all benefit from having a therapist. So please share this live. Somebody on your timeline is definitely going to need this information that I'm about to provide. Share it in your groups, share it in somebody DM who you may have had a heart-to-heart with. Go on ahead and share this live right now. Okay. Thank you so much. You're going to be so glad you did. And somebody's going to thank you, because what you might not know is you might be saving somebody's life by breaking the stigma that surrounds mental health and wellness simply by sharing. And you have done your part. You see how easy it is to do your part? We scroll through Facebook and Instagram and TikTok all day. How about doing it with a purpose? You can be a part of a purpose. You can be a part of an initiative to break the stigma, especially in the nearest and dearest communities to me, the marginalized communities such as Black and Brown folks, LGBTQIA plus folks, and the like. So definitely, please share. You have somebody that identifies as one of the two, if not both, or woman. There's that on your timeline. So please, 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 please share, and it'll be a great help. So let's get to it. 2 weeks ago, I discussed in detail what is trauma and what does it look like. You might be amazed at how many adults come to me and if I just let them say, oh, well, I had a pretty normal life. And I just was like, oh, okay, next, let's move forward. And didn't probe any. I would have a lot of clients still walking around with traumas that they didn't even know they had. How does that happen? Well, because especially in our community, and when I say our, I'm talking about Black and Brown folks. In our community, a lot of things have been normalized over time, and that date way, way back to hundreds of years. Probably, I'm sure, before any of us were here, but because trauma has been coded in our DNA and has been passed down traditionally, a lot of behaviors that we do and exhibit are things that we have normalized. And just because they're normalized, though, that does not mean that it's okay for us to continue to do and that it does not negatively affect us still. So with that being said, I went through some statistics. I even brought up the adverse childhood experiences assessment for you to loosely, again, this is social media, so I'm not providing therapy, for you to loosely get an idea of the experiences that may have impacted you in a traumatic way and maybe you didn't know about it, okay? Or maybe you did and you didn't feel like it was okay to call it what it was, all right? Because that's also a thing too. I've had clients that trauma and abuse has been a hard thing for them to say. So it could be that for you or someone, again, on your timeline. So please share. Like I stated, what's up, Instagram? Like I stated a couple weeks ago, at least 82% of adults have experienced at least one trauma in their life. So that's probably most of us in here, okay? That means I've at least experienced one trauma. That's like, what is that? To bring it down to a smaller number, what is that? Like, would it be 5 and 6, maybe? 5 and 6 people, maybe? And a lot of that occurs in the Black and brown community and other marginalized populations, which ups your adverse experiences. So, and then there's 25%, which that may not sound like a lot, but when you convert that to numbers, that is several thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that have experienced at least 3 traumas in their life. And once we got to 4 adverse childhood experiences, we started to see that we were 12 times more likely for this pulmonary disease, 4 times more likely. And that's, y'all have to go back and see the specifics, but I'm just trying to give you a general to bring new people up to speed. Times more likely to experience things such as alcoholism, suicidal attempts, pulmonary diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, etc. Simply because of the way that trauma has affected us mentally and physically. So there is that. So if you missed it a couple weeks ago, please go on over, click videos up at the top of our Facebook page and gather your information from that video. But this week, what we're going to talk about is treatments related to trauma. What do you do after you have discovered or known that you have been traumatized and how it's affecting you, or you see that something's affecting you and you're not sure exactly what it is? All right. So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll talk about specifically the types of trauma therapy that us as a practice provide and you may benefit from. So let's get to it. The first one is very near and dear to my heart because I went through a year-long postgraduate certification training in the area of, y'all guessed it, cognitive behavioral therapy, directly from the Beck Institute of Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, located in Philadelphia. Okay, did I go there? No, I did not, but I was trained by an ambassador that does live here in Alabama, and it was a year-long training that I had to go through. And you had to submit a case conceptualization and also a video proving that you could execute appropriately the components of cognitive behavioral therapy session. So yes, I am very well trained in it and I love it. And my clients love it. And the other therapist clients in my practice love it. And all the therapists in our practice CBT. All right. And I'm even training our interns, who I'm very excited about because they will soon be providing free sessions. What? We got free therapy going on over here because we understand the detriment to access in healthcare, more specifically for what we're trying to do, mental health care. So I can't just sit back and watch that. I got to do something about it. So I got to help therapists grow, and then I have to help our community get therapy. So this is the way that I've been able to do that. I've been able to bring on 3 wonderful interns who understand the mission and vision of the practice and are ready to work. We're going to be targeting low income and homeless people, but that does not mean that you don't necessarily qualify. So if you think that you might qualify for free sessions, we can definitely get you to text the same number and see if we need to set you up with one of the interns. So that'll be coming down the pipeline real soon. One of the 3 interns has already started seeing clients independently. So yes, they need their hours treatment, and everybody benefits in that scenario. So it's great. So again, share this live. Somebody who's like, I really need therapy and I can't afford it. Like I can barely afford to buy food or keep my lights turned on, but I know I need therapy. Please share this live because I want them to get the help that they need. And I am happy and honored to be able to provide that, because I know how impactful, beneficial, and life-saving therapy is, especially when we're talking about the areas of trauma. So please share this live, and we will continue. So you might be asking yourself, well, what is cognitive behavioral therapy? Because that lady started talking about it and then trailed off, as I tend to do. But guess what? I'm aware of it, so I circle back around and continue to talk about what we were talking about. So cognitive behavioral therapy, in short, and then I'll read the definition that I wrote down verbatim, because I understand sometimes you need information presented in different ways for different people to digest. So we're going to do that. So in short, this is what I tell my clients in their first session. I'm like, hi, my name is Dominique. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then we're going to get into what brings you in. I first start off by telling them what modalities I practice from, and my base modality is cognitive behavioral therapy, or for short, CBT. Okay, so what that is we focus on the way that your core beliefs, and your core beliefs are the way that you fundamentally see yourself, see others, and see the world around you. It's the fundamental base belief that you have about yourself, the world, and others. So yourself could be, I am worthless, or I am worthy. That's a core belief. Or people are all bad, or people are all good. That's a core belief. That's the way that you might see people. The world is a bad place, or the world is a good place. Those are core beliefs as well. And from those core beliefs are where you filter your everyday thoughts through. So based on how you see yourself guides how you talk to yourself. Your internal dialogue, external dialogue with yourself is going to be filtered through whatever your core belief about yourself is. Same thing with other people. Same thing with the world. Well, Dominique, why does that matter when I think about myself, the world, and others? Well, because that is what fuels your emotions. So whether that be happiness, sadness, depression, confusion, numbness, what else? Indifference, all of those emotions are guided by a core belief. Well, why does it matter? Or by a thought that is filtered through a core belief. Well, why does it matter what I feel? Because ultimately your feelings come to fruition in your behaviors, your expressions, and your responses. So if you don't like, or it's becoming problematic, the way that you behave towards yourself or towards others, then we might be dealing with a negative core belief. All right. So with CBT, what we do is we work to reconstruct or redirect. I'm going to say redirect because I'm going to use reconstruct later, but redirect those negative thoughts so that it will yield more comfortable emotions, and in turn yield more comfortable and positive behaviors, expressions, and responses to ourselves, the world, and people around us. So that is what it is. That's the definition that I give my clients. Now, let's read what I found on the intranet, okay? Because that might be better too for people. So, cognitive behavioral therapy examines a client's thought patterns, pretty much the same thing I said, and how they influence, meaning the thought patterns, how they influence the behavior and choices. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps clients pinpoint how some of their thoughts and behaviors have been incorrect or unhelpful. Incorrect or unhelpful or helpful, okay? And so with that being said, a large part of cognitive behavioral therapy is homework based. So what that means is you're not just going to come to me and I'm just going to be like, see you next week. That's not how that goes. The cognitive behavioral therapy is a very clinically engaged practice, meaning that there is a lot of engagement from the therapist with the client in order to help them through redirecting their thoughts in that journey. Because that can be hard, especially if your core belief is I am worthless or I am not enough, okay? Or I am powerless, or something is wrong with me, or I'm defective, or no one loves me, I'm unlovable. If you have those kind of core beliefs, it can be hard to redirect those, okay? So doing it on your own would not be a fair request, because people swear they can just think and will their way out of pain. I wish it were just that simple. Then I would find another job to do. And I've been taking up an interest in golf, so maybe I would have been the next Tiger Woods. I don't know if that was the way that it worked. If people could just will themselves out of trauma or deep-seated maladaptive core beliefs that they don't respond to behaviorally, there would be no need for me. I would not have had to go to school and spend all that money and all those years and all those hours getting licensed to be able to help people the way that I help people. So it's a bit difficult, even for myself. I have to have my own therapist. Even as a therapist, I cannot therapy myself out of my own trauma. I can't do it. In fact, I shouldn't do it. I should let someone else do it. Just like we wouldn't expect for a heart surgeon to open his own chest or their own chest, okay, and fix their own heart. That's just not a thing, and it probably won't go very well. So let's not do that. Let's get the help that we need. And for those of you that are like, well, I'll just pray it away, that's great. And when God brings you a therapist as an answer to your prayer, that's the answer to your prayer, okay? He'll bring you someone to help, because as the Bible states, that we, the people, are the hands and feet of Jesus. And if you don't believe in the Christian God, that's fine too. Whatever you do believe in, help is going to come personified in a therapist, okay? So there's that. We covered all of that. But I do a lot of assigning of different homework assignments to help my clients work on and expand on what we did in the session between sessions, because that is where we see the change take place. It's very important because it helps me to identify and the client to see also what is working for them in therapy and what is not working for them in therapy sooner rather than later. We're able to see barriers of therapy sooner rather than later, and we are able to get to the bottom of things sooner than later if we allow expansion of the work that we do in our 1 hour session once a week or once every other week or once a month. Okay. And I assign homework according to whatever interval you're seeing me in. So if you see me once a week, it's probably going to be smaller things. If you're seeing me every 2 weeks, it's probably going to be a little bit bigger, just depending on who you are. And then if you're seeing me once a month, then your, homework assignment is going to also fit that time frame as well. So that's what I try to do to keep my clients engaged in between sessions, and it has worked out really well, to the point that I have been pretty much full for the past 2 years and have brought on now 9 other therapists. So kind of works, and my clients really love the practice. So that is a practice. Cognitive behavioral therapy, again, is something that all of the therapists in Yellowbird Counseling can do, and it is pretty much the main modality, and it can work for anybody, whether you're coming to us for therapy because you have a mental diagnosis that you're trying to manage, or whether you're coming to us for counseling because you're a human being and all of us have problems and none of us are without problems, and people get on our nerves and we get on our nerves and jobs get on our nerves and school gets on our nerves and the world gets on our nerves, and sometimes we feel lost and sometimes we don't have goals, and sometimes, just regular human stuff. It works for that too. But more specifically, as it relates to trauma, this helps us get to the bottom of the trauma so that we can help some of those triggers that you might be responding to that you may not know about, those traumatic responses. CBT is something that can be used and is very is evidence-based, meaning that it has been studied and proven to be effective to work for trauma. For children, that's going to look like trauma-focused CBT, and it's going to be a lot of the same, but it's going to include whoever the child or minor, we'll say minor, safe adult or comfortable adult or an adult that they trust. That person is also going to be included. So if you have questions, please put them in the comments. And also, again, please share the live. Share the live, okay? Give me some hearts and likes and loves and let me know you're there. All right. And if you have any questions, let's ask them. All right. So let me see. Danielle said, my son has been through CBT at school. He's autistic. Yeah. And there's different specific diagnosis that when I was in that training, we were trained on how to tweak it for whatever that specific thing was. But yeah, good. Again, I love cognitive behavioral therapy. I want to be a part of that. Be a part in whatever way. Tell me how you want to be a part. I love to build community and be a part and bring people as a part. So tell me what you want to be a part of and let's get it crack-a-lacking. All right. So the next type of therapy, and again, I'm just doing a few, and no, I am not trained in all of them. So I'm not even going to let y'all think that. I'm only trained in 2 of the few. CBT and EMDR, okay? I have formal training in those 2 types of trauma-informed care, all right? So, but there are other ones that you might like and that might work for you better. So I want to also educate you on what those types are as well, okay? Because that's what I do. I provide the information so that you can go out and make more well-informed decisions, okay? Especially as it relates to your mental health, because you only have one brain and one mind. And I have actually seen people literally lose their mind, meaning they have gotten so far from stability that it's really nowhere in sight. And it's very, very sad. I worked on a very acute unit in the psychiatric hospital, and I have seen people go through all types of therapies that it's just the brain has gotten to a point that it's hard to come back from. So I'm not saying that they're broken and that they can't be helped, but it's gonna be a minute. All right. So don't let yourself get to that point. Not saying that everyone will, but we don't know who it. Trauma and mental illness is really not a respecter of person, as much as maybe, some circumstances and situations that you might be in as a result of maybe your socioeconomic or your ethnicity or your gender or non-binary or any of that. Yeah, but as far as you being a human being that can endure trauma, it can really be any of us at any time. Okay, so yeah, that's CBT. Questions. All of it. Will be a part of all of it then. Please, I want you to. Danielle said that CBT definitely taught her son how to redirect his feelings. Yeah. We work on that a lot. And what's great about that is when you maybe feel like you don't have control over your behavioral or emotional responses, that can cause you to feel helpless and hopeless. But when you find that you can have control over it and you can have relief from it, that can be empowering. So good. Happy to hear it's been effective for your son, most definitely. Second type, exposure therapy. I'm not trained in exposure therapy. All right. So I'll just let you know that. I don't have anything against it. I'm just not trained in it. So there's that. But with exposure therapy, what it focuses on is helping the client confront and overcome their fears by exposure to those fears. So it happens gradually. And I'm just thinking, every time I think of exposure, because y'all know, any of you that have been following me for a long time know that I have a freaking phobia of roaches. Like, there is something black on the floor right now. It's not a roach. It's a piece of something. But I promise, anytime I see anything black on the floor or anywhere, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, no, I take measures to keep bugs out of my house. I take measures outside of the house and inside of the house to keep me from ever laying my eyes on a bug in my house, because then I'll have to leave. I'll have to move. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to handle seeing a roach, a water bug, whatever y'all want to call it, at my house, in or around my house ever, because I'm going to have to go. And then I don't know where I'm going to live. You know, me and the dogs and everybody, we're going to have to leave, because I'm not doing that. I don't care if it's just one. And I don't care if it's dead. If it's dead, I don't care. It's as good as alive to me. I do not like roaches. So every time I think about exposure therapy, I'm like, oh my God, like thinking of somebody forcing me into a roach infested. Oh, nope. See, we're going to stop right there. But makes me get all flustered, really. Like, y'all have, every time I talk about roaches, y'all see me get real anxious about it. Okay. And I can't. And I just, I can't. I can't. So I really need to deal with that. But hasn't been first on the priority list, because I'm doing other things to keep me from coming in contact with roaches. If I see one, I'm going to run in the other direction. All right. But with exposure therapy, again, the therapist helps the client confront and overcome their fears by gradually exposing them to whatever that aversion is, and helps the client break patterns of avoidance by creating a safe environment in which they can face what they fear. I don't care how safe you try to make that environment so that I don't fear a water bug, because I don't want to see a picture. I can't barely talk about it without losing my shit. So I'm not really trying to, but some people it would work for, okay? And in some situations it would be more appropriate for. So I'm not knocking it at all. I'm absolutely not knocking it. But that is another type of trauma-based therapy. Okay? Questions? Whew. Y'all laughing. I'm being serious. Everybody got to evacuate. And that's just on period and Mary and her little lambs. I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with the bugs, and y'all not gonna make me, and I'm not doing it. It's just not happening, partner. So there's that. Third type. No. Okay, my alarm had went off. Okay. Third type of trauma-based therapy is narrative exposure therapy, or NETS. if you would like to shorten that acronym, NET. And what narrative exposure therapy does is help you kind of rewrite your story surrounding your trauma and how you see yourself responding to that trauma, in short. But again, I'm going to read the definition because I believe in that, okay? Let's see. A person's life experiences and well-being heavily depend on the story that each individual tells their self. And it says himself or herself, but as we know, there's more than hims and hers. There are theys. So themselves, and that includes everyone, with narrative exposure therapy. A client can develop a fuller, more positive life story that appropriately conceptualizes the sorry, my writing is terrible, y'all. Traumatic, okay, that appropriately conceptualize the traumatic event and how it has influenced them. So basically what I said, like, we want to rewrite whatever narrative you have developed about yourself or your situation and how it has impacted you negatively with narrative exposure therapy. And to be honest, all of the trauma therapies have that piece. You are going to have to verbally talk through the trauma and the story of the trauma. It just is how you're doing it, okay? And for me, I try to make that as comfortable as possible because nobody's trying to be, hurting all the time. I try to dab it real soft. So if you it's like a wound, and I'm gonna try to take a cotton ball, kind of dab it. Okay. We deep breath. We got it. Dab it and help you through that. I'm not gonna just have you endure that by yourself, because I know, as somebody who has also experienced multiple traumas, not just one but multiple, I know that how important that is to really be mindful and let the client decide how far they want to go, okay, and when they're ready to go there. All right, I'm not going to force it. It's never going to be forced. No therapist should. They should help you into that process. That is what we do. Let's see. All right, to see if there was some new comments. Y'all feel free to comment, ask me questions. If you have questions below, if you don't have questions, just send me a like or a love, or again, share. If you have not already, please share this live. Share it to your timeline, share it to your groups, because people need help and people have been experiencing traumas and it has been impacting them. Because of that, it has limited their life experience, and we don't want that. I want you as a therapist and as just another human being, and we as a practice want you to experience your fullest life. And so that is why we provide specific therapies to help you on that journey. Okay. What age groups do you work with? Literally all of them. We have people that enjoy working with kids and adolescents. We have people that enjoy working with geriatric or elderly people, and then we have people that enjoy working with us middle folks. We're not a kid and we're not an elder, we're like in the middle. So people that are like 20, 30, 40, 50, we got that. And then we got, again, Jerry, and then minor. So yeah, I try to be strategic with hiring so that we can service as many people as possible. So literally any age. What was the first type of trauma therapy? Cognitive behavioral therapy, or for kids, it would be trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy for minors. You're welcome. I look forward to my sessions. I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that. I look forward to my sessions too. So, because literally it's a need. Like, And some folks don't want to hear that they need therapy, as evident by them folks that got that therapist lady fired from her job because she said, I've been meaning to do a live on that, but it's just, I had so many emotions surrounding that. And she really didn't say, I read the article, so I did my research because I wanted to see. And this is just a side note, but there's a therapist, her name is therapist Bree, and she was on TikTok. She made a TikTok video in response to a Psychology Today article about how singleness is on the rise in, I don't remember exactly how it was titled, but singleness is on, and I'm my own boss, so who gonna check me? But singleness is on the rise in men. And she and the article, not just her, the article, which wasn't a research article, so we can say that, but it was written by somebody with credentials like mine to be able to speak on the topic. Okay, and there was some percentages in there, and such, but you can read that yourself. That I'm just giving you a brief thing. But anyway, so she got people got mad and called her job, and their job got scared and fired her because they didn't want no negative smoke or whatever, which I, felt was kind of cowardly, especially since, again, in one of her subsequent videos, she talked about how so many of her clients were going to be without a therapist who they came to trust and love because she was abruptly fired from her job, which is super unethical. It's just like, wow. Unless she did something really egregious. And saying that people need therapy on TikTok is not egregious, okay? Because it's true. And I'll say it too, all right? But the article stated that because men specifically were unwilling to address their emotional and communication deficits, that women, because that is such a large reaching problem, women are being more specific and they're requiring that because these men are on the dating apps and there's way more men on the dating apps than women. So women have more of a plethora to choose from, so they have to be more selective. And so because of that, they're not wanting to deal with or choose men that are not working on themselves because they don't have to. They just don't have to because, again, there's more men on these dating apps than there are women. So that's just a side note. I don't even know how I got started on that. But yeah, so anyways, that was sad, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree that she should have been fired, but that's a whole nother live as well. Sorry, I had clicked the button wrong. Sorry. Let's see. How do you know what trauma you should address first? So that's something that your therapist will help you with. You don't have to do that by yourself or figure that out by yourself. That's something that your therapist can help you with. It's a necessity, literally. Yes, it is. Yeah. You don't blame who? You don't blame them. So I'm going to go on ahead and put our number up for people. I feel like I have so much. Yeah, and a lot of people feel like that. They do. But I'm telling you, it is not too much for a trained professional. I will say that. Yes, it is overwhelming for you, and that is valid, but it is not too much for a trained professional. It's like literally what we choose to do. Okay? This is our choice. And for me, it's a lifestyle. Like where I literally went in, and I don't therapy on my friends, but literally another therapist called me today, really distraught about something, and I put that head on and said, listen, let's process. Let's get through this, because what we do is hard, and we really, really care about, we should, I'll say that, but all the therapists I know, we really, really care about our job very deeply because we know the responsibility that we have for people's mental health. That's a huge responsibility. So if something doesn't go quite right, it does hurt our feelings. And so I was like, no, I got to help my friend through this because my friend has a job to do to take care of other people. So I got to help my friend. So yeah, definitely. Let's see the unpacking. Yeah, and you're not gonna jump. Don't feel like just because you're going to therapy for trauma, we're gonna go for the jugular. We're not gonna do that. We're going to meet you where you're at and help you through that. We're not just gonna. With trauma therapy, we have to make sure that what is happening, you're ready for, you want to do, and however long it takes is just how long it takes. It is okay. This is hard. When trauma is not just a light word, as we discussed, more like trauma, more specifically a couple weeks ago, those are not light things. Those are not just slaps on the wrist. Those are literally gashes. Okay. So yeah, we're not just gonna it's not gonna be like I don't have a problem with exposure therapy, but I liken it to like getting a bone reset after you break it. And it's not, y'all. I'm not trained in exposure therapy, so talk to an exposure trained therapist if you feel like that might, but it's like no. So, but it's not. I'm over exaggerating. I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, she said I don't blame the females for not wanting men that are not willing. Right, and they don't have to because there's more men on the dating apps than women. So why they have literally all of the picking. So why they gonna settle for somebody that's not gonna be emotionally intelligent or choose to build their emotional intelligence? They shouldn't have to. And I said what I said when I said it. Next. Yes, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, Toya. I like the Sydney said, I like the breakdown of this topic because people use the word trauma so freely. And that's exactly why I did the live. And that's why I did it separate. I did types of trauma, symptoms of trauma, how does trauma come about in one live, and then the treatment. I didn't want to gloss over it. I did it in two separate lives because you're exactly right. Yeah, I feel like that too. I have felt like that too. I'm like, man, literally, I got to go to therapy every week because my life changes so much in just a week's time. So, yeah, exactly what I need because I always have so much going on. Yeah. Yep. I feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that. And it's like, can I just, I just want to break. All right. So moving on from narrative, which was kind of like a few minutes back, and then we trailed down a rabbit hole, but now we're back because I'm always going to bring it back. EMDR. I love and am trained in EMDR. Okay, so my clients love EMDR, and I call it the magic wand of therapy. Love it. Basically, what it is in short, all right, and I'm just going to read it from here because my understanding of EMDR is very broad, so I don't want to lose focus. So it's because I'm trained in it. I'm a trained professional, and I don't want to start talking to y'all like y'all was there too and got trained with me. So basically we utilize EMDR, and I'll kind of show you a little bit so you know kind of what it looks like. But EMDR, it says for PTSD, but it's not just for PTSD. It may have started off that way, but it definitely, I use it for more than PTSD, which again, we learned 2 weeks ago is a singular one event. If you have more than one thing that happened, it's not PTSD anymore. It's complex PTSD. But I use it for different anxieties. I've literally used it for, and it's all, if it's traumatic to you, it's trauma. If it's not traumatic to someone else, that doesn't matter. We don't care about someone else in your session as it relates to what should be trauma and what shouldn't. If it impacted you in the way that is affecting you long term, then yes, it's traumatic. Okay. So just because it's not traumatic for your friend or your husband or your daughter or your son or your wife or whoever else, that does not mean it's not trauma for you. Okay. So I'm going to just read this very generic definition. And what does it stand for? Let's start there. So EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Okay, that's why I saved reprocessing. I wanted to say redirect for CBT, and I wanted to say reprocess because that's exactly what's happening for EMDR. So EMDR is for PTSD that helps clients process their trauma and healing. During EMDR sessions, the client focuses on a back and forth movement or sound while remembering an upsetting memory. The clinician also helps the client talk through that. Okay, so it's a very structured approach. In fact, initially in the first session, I'll tell my clients I offer it, but if we need it, then we do a whole separate introduction for it because it's not just, and then I've seen the renditions of EMDR on TV and I'm like, no, it's not like that. But basically bilateral brain stimulation, because we want to activate both sides in the front and back of your brain when we're doing this, because trauma, all in all, is fragmented memories. So in order to reprocess it, we have to make the full connection between those fragments in order to reprocess it. So right, left, and this is one of them we call butterfly hug. It's simple, y'all. You're not connected to a machine. Now, we do have pan paddles where it buzzes in right, left, because it's activating. Again, when you're walking, that's bilateral stimulation, right, left, that's what it is. It just means right, left movements, okay? Or with EMDR, the therapist can use their hand or their finger that you focus on right, left. I don't use it virtually. I use more tactile approaches such as bilateral tapping, which is literally just, that is it. And you're probably like, that ain't gonna do nothing for me. I do it then. Because I've had clients and you can't make it not work either. It's crazy. I'm just like, and it's more than that, but I wanted to explain to you the bilateral part, what that is, okay? But we do it's composed of 8 different stages. And I'm not going to be remembering them in order because I do them a little out of order, just depending on the clients that I'm working with, because I really do use EMDR as an integrative approach. And so we gather all your information initially, your history, which is our initial phase. And then we move on to resourcing, which is the coping that we use if we need to. And then we move to the target sequence plan, where we figure out what emotion or what traumatic instance we want to work on, and we map that out. And then we move on to access and activate, where we're doing the bilateral and processing the trauma. And then we move on to, after that, we desensitize. That's to desensitize, and then we reprocess again. Y'all see why I just read the shorter version? But all in all, it's kind of like this. So imagine your brain as a box. And you got this negative belief in there that's causing you to just run wild in your life. Or every time you see the color red, you just can't. Or you have a certain aversion to a smell that you just can't understand. So what EMDR does with the bilateral is it helps open your brain up. This is very simplistic. All right. There's a negative. Remember, we talked about that negative belief. We actually take that negative belief out. And then we pick a positive belief and we put that positive belief in its place. Then we close it back up. Yes, you'll still have the memory of what happened to you, but the way you associate it with it is going to be different, because we have uninstalled that negative belief and reinstalled a positive belief in its place. And so your perspective of what happened is different. Okay. And that is as quick as a session. Sometimes there have been so for the most part, I've been practicing EMDR for what, 2 years now, 3 years now. And for the most part, when we do a target, when me and my clients do a target we're working on, I'm able to help them get that down to 0 on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being not disturbing at all and 10 being the most disturbing you can imagine. I can help them get that down to 0. And then their positive belief is going to be on a scale of 1 to 7. 1, they don't believe it at all. 7, they believe it completely, and up to a 7 in one session. But there have been sessions, just because of time constraints, that we have had to do what we call an EMDR and contain it, which is essentially going to contain that traumatic memory and return you back to the state that you were before the session. So you're not walking around being all like raw from processing your trauma. We don't leave you like that. We're gonna put you back together, and then you can go back into the world, and then we come back to the session, we finish it, and you're good. Any questions? Can't wait to start that part of my therapy. Yes, if you have an EMDR therapist, then you got some go, okay? A lot of us are getting trained, but still a lot of people that aren't trained in it. So if you got yourself an EMDR therapist, you pretty much got yourself a good little package there, because chances are they don't just practice EMDR. They probably practice EMDR, cognitive behavioral, and some take it a step further and do brain spotting, which is also, I'm going to be getting trained in brain spotting too, because I like it. But brain spotting is also another form of trauma-based therapy that's really good, and it's kind of like a cousin to EMDR. Yay, I'm glad you love your therapist. I'm so glad. I always love to hear when people love their therapist, because sometimes it doesn't work out the first time, which is normal too. That's why I always tell my clients, hey, listen, if whoever I pair, and I think all my therapists are great, but that doesn't mean they're all great for you. So I always tell people, hey, if this isn't a good fit, please let me know, and I'll switch you to someone else who's a better fit for you. Okay. Just like I don't think I'm a good fit for every single body. I think I'm a great therapist, but I don't think I'm great for everyone. So I should not be working with everyone. I want people to go where they're going to get help, or who they're going to get help from. So I always tell clients that come to Yellowbird, hey, it's no hard feelings. If it doesn't work out with, and I've literally had people switch around to 2-3 different therapists within Yellowbird, and that's okay. That's all right. As long as they got what they need, that's all I care about. Okay. And then when they get with the person, that they get with, then they're good. So it's okay. You are amazing for offering the option for change. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I know how I am. Okay. I'm going to just say that. I know how I am. All right. And if it's possible for me to switch therapists, it's possible for you to switch therapists, okay? And pretty much, I had to keep myself from going in there and doing the work for the therapist. Like, no, Soph, you are the client. You are the client. You are the client. Be the client. So if they're like, have you ever experienced any trauma? I'm legit going to be like, huh? Can you explain? Like, I have to do that so I'm not being a therapist. And there was a point where when I was interviewing different therapists, when I was changing therapists, and I've changed therapists a lot. I'm in the process of changing therapists now. Okay. It is what it is. I have an expectation, as you should too. That's why I offer that option. So if I'm like that, I'm assuming everybody else is too. So you are most welcome for that option being available to you. All right. And I also asked, do you have a preference for ethnicity? Because I know me, I'm going to want a black lady, okay? And I think Bridget is great. And I sing Bridget's praises, and my interns are great, and they are not black or brown. And I think they're great. And I, very upfront about what their practice with black and brown people needs to look like as people who are not black or brown. But me personally, and people be hesitating. They'll call me and I'll be like, do you have a preference for ethnicity? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, don't hesitate. You want a black therapist, and that is okay. I want one too. And I tell them that. I'm like, listen, you could just say you want a black therapist. It's okay. It's not going to hurt my feelings because I keep them on hand, okay? Because literally black female therapist is like 80% of what people like. That's the number one request that I get. And that is okay, because I want a black female therapist too. It's fine. Yeah, cultural differences do matter. Yeah, they do. They do. Like with Bridget, we can't just not talk about black and brown. And even with that, like the general black and brown experience may not be that client's experience. So I have to help her maneuver that as well. Like, we have a very open conversation about culture and racial differences and acknowledging your microaggressions and white privilege and fragility. Yep, all that. We got if you are a non-black or brown white presenting person working at Yellowbird, I'm going to make sure we have a regular dialogue about how to work with black and brown people and other marginalized communities if they are not a part of that marginalized community. So yeah. So when people call me and they're like, hey, do you have a therapist that's LGBTQ affirming? Literally all of them. They have to be, because I'm lesbian. So my therapist have to be affirming of all sexual orientations, or it ain't gonna work. Literally, Magic City Wellness sends their people to us for therapy. So you gotta be LGBTQIA plus affirming and culturally aware or becoming aware in order to work here. And that's just period and dot. Point blank, period. That's it. Next, any questions? Questions, comments, concerns? Any? All right. Yeah, we're black owned, LGBTQIA plus owned, and women owned. So yes, woman owned rather. So yeah, those are our. Of course, not all of our clients fit those, but a lot of them do. Okay, so all right. The last one is psychodynamic trauma therapy. Basically, if you have any, if you ever taken if you went to college and ever took a Psych 101 class, you might have heard of the name Sigmund. He is the father of psychoanalytics and more evolved psychodynamic theory. But there is a specific trauma-based psychodynamic therapy that arose from that, which focuses on factors that may affect a client's PTSD symptoms, such as experience and coping. So like the way they behave or cope or experience things that's affected by their trauma. And so psychodynamic trauma therapy is going to go deeper and focus on like, where did that come from? Where did that start? How did it relate back in childhood? Things of that nature. Okay. Because that theory is more like, okay, what you are today is a direct result of who or what happened to you as a child. So there's that. So those are the types that I have for you. Please ask me any questions that you have. I want to know, what are your questions or comments? Because I know there are therapists in this live in both of platforms. So yeah. Tell me if you have any. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know what you need to do right now, you want to do this before, you want to do it now. You want to either text new to this number, okay, if you need us for therapy, or you want to go to yellowbirdcounseling.com and you want to subscribe to our newsletter, because so you don't miss out for October. If you know, you know. All right, you don't want to miss out for October. I missed the beginning. So are you talking in terms of just offering free? What do you mean? I missed the beginning. So are you taking, interns or just offering free? No, we have interns. I have 3 interns that can offer free sessions, because when we're in school, they're like, you can't get paid because you do not have a license. So you're practicing under someone else's license. So yes, they can't get paid for it. They're practicing under my license. So they have their own student, malpractice thing, but no, they're practicing under my license, and that's why I have to supervise them regularly with all the work that they do. So actually, to be honest with you, as a therapist, I'm saying this, I would rather go to a therapist under supervision. I would rather go to an intern or an ALC, because I know they're being supervised by a more seasoned therapist, and that person will help them help me, okay? So you get extra double support. And then they're going to get support from their professors, our preceptors at school. So, for nursing, they call it precepting. So it's about the same. So I'm precepting. Okay. So, asking for a friend. Yeah. Undergraduate. You gotta be graduate. Because you have to have a graduate degree in order, at least, in order to become licensed. So these are graduate students. But yeah, tell them to text the word. Well, actually, I'll have a different text. I'll talk more about that. I'm going to bring the interns on and do it right and bring them up. But if you need something now, I can get you something now. I just haven't, I rolled it out, but it's not rolled out. Y'all know how I do things, kind of big. But yeah, if someone needs it now, definitely tell them to text me here. It's cool. I got an intern ready. What are signs my child's experiencing a trauma? Well, some signs could be bedwetting. Some signs could be angry outbursts, being tearful. And this is not just for trauma. This could be for anxiety or depression too. That may not be necessarily trauma related. So I'll say that, but I'm going to give you general since you asked. So yeah, but bedwetting is a big one. Not saying all kids that wet the bed have been traumatized, but bedwetting is definitely a symptom that something may have happened. Especially if it, just came out of nowhere. Shyness doesn't necessarily mean there's trauma. That she could just have a proclivity to shyness, so that doesn't necessarily mean it. Can it be a response to trauma? Yes, but is it does it mean that because you're shy you've experienced trauma? Not necessarily. No. When is a good time to transition into family therapy? That is a great question for your individual therapist, because that's there may be some layers to that. So that's a good thing to bring up with the individual therapist. Because literally we also service families. So I have a client and then I work with one of the spouses. One of my other therapists works with another one of the spouses, and then a third therapist in the practice works with them as a couple. And one of the spouses is not quite ready for couples. So me and the other 2 therapists are going to have to meet and have a treatment team about how to best serve them, because they're just not ready. One of the 2 is just not ready. So there could be layers that you might want to discuss with your individual therapist as far as when is the best time to transition to couples or family therapy. I want y'all to see my shirt too. This is Kiss My 2. This is an Enneagram type. I'm a type 2, which is the helper. I did an Enneagram series maybe, like 2 years ago, and talked through all the different personality types and gave y'all the Enneagram link for you to look up your own personality type and went through it. But I'm a helper, okay? And that's kind of why I do what I do, because by nature, that's just who I am. And then also, I don't want people to experience the pain that I have experienced. And I work really hard to give people relief. That's the main goal of every session that I have every day, is to make sure that my client leaves with some level of relief. Okay. I think I was like a 6. I can't remember exactly. Okay. Yeah. 6. A 6 has the trust mistrust. Like, so with a 6, it's hard for them to trust people and trust that they have the means to maybe sometimes even make good judgments of who people are. But yeah, and 6s also can be more cerebral than emotional. That can be a thing, but they're very and there could be ambivalence there with as far as trust is concerned. But yeah. So cool. Awesome. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Why y'all let me have y'all on here more than an hour? Y'all should have said something. Y'all just let me have y'all on here all long like this. I enjoy it. Y'all just let me. If you have not shared, please share. You know what I'm saying? Please share this live because someone needs it. So please share someone on your timeline, or you can tell them to text this number, or you could text this number if you have not yet already done so. You can copy. Well, I don't know if you can copy and paste, but you could just send it to them in a text. Yeah. Yeah, I was a 6. So couples right was about couples right. What about when you do couple sessions and the therapist tells you at session number 2 that you don't need therapy? Do I find another therapist or take their... One, that better not have happened here. So if you're a Yellowbird client and that happened here, you call me on the phone or text me immediately, because no, that I don't agree with that. You can't tell. I don't even think it's... I personally do not think it's ethical to even if I'm sure, because I've been practicing it for a decade. I will not give a diagnosis to a person until session between 4 and 6. I don't even let my therapist write letters for things without having at least 4 sessions. So I just don't know that on session 2, it's fair to say that a person doesn't. I don't think that's fair. So yes, if they are saying they don't think you need it, then yes, you should find someone else who is willing to help. Okay. Because I've heard that being said to people not from Yellowbird. Again, it better not have been no Yellowbird therapist, because we gonna have to have a talk if it has been. But I've heard of that being said, and I'm like, even no, because in 2 hours there's just no way I can. And no time has really been. No, I don't agree with that. Yes, get somebody else. Okay. Yep. He literally said, okay. I know it wasn't Jason. So yes, no, it wasn't us. Good. Yep, he literally said we communicated better than older couples he worked with, and that he didn't need him at our age. That is, yeah. Call us because I got a therapist. Two or three therapists? No, 3 therapists that provide and like to provide couples. Actually, one of my newest ones prefers mothers and couples. So yeah, we can help you. We can help you. But yeah, no, that is not okay to say. And therapists, y'all don't be doing that. Y'all don't be telling people so early on in the process like that. Like, don't do that. At least see them for 16 sessions. At least see them for like that many, and then say that. But after 2, that's real premature. So yeah. Sorry, I had to think of how I wanted to respond to that, and I was like, authentically and truthfully, that's the only way I know how. So any other questions? That was a good question. Any other questions? Again, please share if you have not shared. Please share. Let me get my, dang, y'all, I need a pen. Because if you know, you know, and I need to keep BRB. Y'all text that number. I'll be right back. Had to get a pen. I'm back. All right. Any other questions or comments before I do what I'm about to do? Did you answer the undergrad question about what an undergrad could do? I may have missed it. So right now, I don't have anything for undergrads to do necessarily. But that doesn't mean that they can't do anything, or that's not a possibility, or that someone else doesn't have something for undergraduates to do. But my internships are geared towards graduate students. So, yeah. Yep. Any other questions? All right, well, I'm gonna give you a number, and if you hadn't done it already, then it's already too late. You either you knew because you're in the text community, or you knew because you're on the newsletter. That is our $100 Cash App giveaway. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. It's okay, Sharon. Because I see you in here, I'm gonna let it slide because I be seeing you in here and you be in here. So yes, I already know. So we're gonna start sharing your number 1. Y'all remember your numbers because y'all know how I've been the last few times. I'm writing it down now so I can keep up with how many, but you have to keep up with your number, okay? So all right. Y'all, I'm gonna let y'all slide this time. And these ones I'm letting slide because I've seen them multiple times in my life. They're not just, they've been here before. But Sharon is 1. Malika is 2. Destiny is 3. I'm going from bottom to top. Nicolette is 4. Okay. Go up. Let's see. Tanya is 5. Scrolling up. Lavonda is 6. Tiffany is 7. I think I already gave y'all numbers. You only got K Candles is 8. Danielle Robinson is 9. B Mike is 10. BMC or B gave y'all a number. Sydney is 11. Rashida is 12. Amaris is 13. Hush, Mr. Carter. Erica Reynolds is 14. Brandon Jones is 15. Candace Keller is 16. Hush, Mr. Carter. I think that's it. And I got everybody. Mr. Carter! Let me put him out because y'all know how he gonna be. Y'all already know how he gonna do. Hi, Mr. Carter. Say hi to everybody since you just want to do that. And this around his neck because everybody is his special necklace to keep him in line. It is his special necklace. Okay, I gotta get the other dogs. I know they want to go out. Come on, doggy. No, come on. Come on. Okay. All right. They don't want to. I don't know. They wanted to just come out. Literally, we're both on lives. Oh, wait. Let me close the door because we're both on lives. All right. So everybody got their number. Mr. He just literally went out there to be loud. He don't. He just been cussing. Like, what is that? Right. He started cutting up when I'm giving out money. Like, sir, you don't even pay a bill at all. You don't pay no bill. Y'all, Star is my girlfriend. Stop. Y'all don't. she's just tripping and just we be on each other's lives tripping. So y'all just not mind her, okay? She is fine. All right, cool. All right, so I got everybody, and that's 15, 16. So I hope you remembered your number because I know I don't. I just know how many people, but I called you out to give you your number. Okay. It's again, Star can just come out here and ask me for this if she wants it. Dang, did my phone die, man? Oh, okay. Let me try to, hold on, let me grab a charger. I hate when my phone dies. Hey, because that's what I used to send the Cash App with, which it's happened before. And y'all know all you got to do is just send me a request. Huh? It's a request to the request to Yellowbird Counseling, and I'll send you the money when my phone turns on. Just like how it's turning right back on. So there we go. She got people. Oh, I missed you, Natasha, did I? I thought I had already counted you. Sorry. So then you'll be 17. Sorry, Natasha. I got you. You're 17. I'm sorry. I thought I had already counted you. So you're 17. All right, so I think we're ready. Conflict of interest. What's the conflict of interest? Yeah, Candace, I did. I remember giving you a number. I don't remember what number it is now, but I did give you one. So, if a number comes up that no one else claims, we'll have to see. Yeah, I gave you one. You were closer to the bottom though because you put your Cash App closer to the top. I gave Natasha a number. What is happening? Okay, I'm gonna go on ahead and start doing this. So let me share my screen. No, the dogs. You're good. The dogs are like, come on, guys. Why are y'all doing this? Come on, go on. Go on, there. Yes, Simone. Like, yes. What is it? What does everybody need? All right, let me share my screen. What I gotta open up a new tab. Your pups made my pups. Yeah, see, they do that. You see how they do? All right. Let me share my screen. I got sidetracked. Sorry. I'm looking at the comments, looking at the dogs, counting the people. It's a lot. Okay, so y'all know I like to start from scratch so you know that nobody's getting favorites. So we're going to go to the random, what is it? Random number, random number wheel. Okay, let's pick it. Let's go. All right. We got 17. So that means the minimum is 1. The maximum is 17. Okay, so that's 17. All right, so let's spin. Woo! Who is number 3? Closer to the top? I already know. I just don't know exactly who. Who is number 3 though? Who got it? Is it? Not okay. Yay! You sure? Okay, yeah, because you did say it was your favorite number. Yay! Congratulations! All right, my phone's back on, so I can send it to you. Yes, I knew Charlie not being here would help me. Oh no! After you was talking crap and didn't want me. What are you talking about? This is a positive space. This is a healing space. Okay, this is a positive. So yep, and then people confirm. Yep, congratulations! Woo! Woo! Let's see. All right, let me send this. I'm getting distracted with whatever's happening in the comments. All right, let me send. Because y'all know I like to send it on the live too. So y'all see that it got sent and that I don't cap. It ain't no cap. And this is cool. Y'all, another thing that happened earlier this evening. Apparently, my cousin has been sending the wedding invitations for her wedding in Greece in 3 weeks to my next door neighbors who never bought me the invitation. So now I'm trying to figure out how I can get to Greece in 3 weeks to get to my baby cousin's wedding. So anyway, all right, let me Destiny, can you retype it because it's a lot of comments? Can you retype your Cash App real quick for me? So I can send it. And let's see if if you won before, because if you've won before, you might be in here. I think, yep. Gotcha. All right, cool. Congratulations from Yellowbird Counseling. All right. Booyah! You got it. Got it. You're welcome. Enjoy that. And if you get paid this Friday, then you don't even got, that's $100 less that you got to take out your paycheck for some fun. Do something nice for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Do something nice for yourself. All right, guys. Well, that is that. If you haven't joined the newsletter, you want to do that, especially now because our October newsletter is about to come out, and that will have the days that I do the Cash Apps and what you have to do when you come in the live in order to be eligible to win the Cash Apps, okay? So you want to get on the newsletter or in the text community, like if you need therapy, so that way you can be in the know about when those Cash App giveaways happen. So there you go. And next month we'll be focusing on a lot of suicide prevention related stuff. All right. and some domestic violence support stuff. Okay. So definitely come back and join us for that. In the meantime, though, make safe choices and wear a jacket when it's cold and take it off when it's hot. I don't know. Some people say you shouldn't do that. Some people say you should dress for the season and not the weather. But I mean, in Alabama, I don't know. I'll see y'all next week.